Hey everybody, I'm sure you have heard of the term Pride Parade. You may see people holding a rainbow flag with makeup, protesting, but you probably don't know for what. I quote from Britannica: Gay rights movement, also called homosexual rights movement or gay liberation movement. Civil rights movement that advocates equal rights for gay men, lesbians, bisexuals, and transgender persons. Seeks to eliminate sodomy laws barring homosexual acts between consenting adults, and calls for an anti-discrimination against gay men, lesbians, and transgender persons in employment, credit, housing, public accommodation, and other areas of life. We can say that the LGBT movement has the goal of giving a LGBT person a normal life, the life of the average person. Now, to get a better understanding of LGBT activism and the main characters, we can move to Jennings. She is a 20-year-old American LGBT activist, famous for being one of the youngest transgender women with gender confirmation surgery. She was born as a boy, but at the age of 2, she was already asking her mother about changing her gender. At 17, her lifelong dream came true and she had a gender confirmation surgery. After struggling with acceptance, getting rejected, and suffering discrimination, she started her journey in activism for trans rights, also on motivating people to be themselves. Parts of her activism included being open about all of her problems, from her weight loss journey, depression, and finally, her gender confirmation surgery. In 2006, being just 6 years old, Jazz and her parents appeared on television speaking about the challenges of growing up as transgender. 1 year after, the parents of Jazz, motivated by the difficulties to give their daughter a normal life, started the Trans Kid Purple Rainbow Foundation to help other young transgenders.
A boy living as a girl.
I have a girl brain and boy body. Hi.
When we first met Jazz in 2007, she was only 6 years old and one of the youngest documented cases of an early transition from male to female.
We'll say things like, God made you special, because there aren't very many little girls out there that have a penis.
With their popularity rising, TLC, the American TV producer, collaborated with the family of Jazz, the Jennings, from 2015 onwards to create a 6 seasons long reality show called I Am Jazz, documenting her life. From there, more collaborations surged. Although we cannot measure her impact on giving transgender people a normal life, we can look at an article from the US Library of Medicine, stating, visibility of transgender identities have increased in recent years, meaning more people are open about being transgender. This is probably the result of successful activism, partially by Jazz. Why took Jennings? Well, TGNB people, transgender and gender non-binary, are often seen as these attention-seeking, annoying people who want to stand out. Although this is often seen on social media, it's not a reality. In the majority of cases, transgender people want to be as an average person as possible. Exactly this is the goal of Jennings. The TGNB people get treated equally, so Jazz represents the majority of transgenders. So now we talked about Jennings, a big activist, but you may wonder how you can make a change in your daily life and help others without any awkward conversation or requests. Don't use a LGBT term as a vulgar word. Often, the wrong choice of words can heavily criticize someone. So for example, don't use the word gay when talking about negative aspects. Second, we have make LGBT person feel like they're not standing out. How I mentioned before, the goal of trans people is often to be considered as normal as possible. So if the new gender is female, they want to be recognized as a female, not as a transgender. At the end, we have taken into consideration the new gender. This is the most important part for trans people, is to take consideration of the new gender. For example, if his new gender is female, go there to the female section, don't search a trans or male section. Even though some people may call TGMB ridiculous, annoying, or attention-seeking, being born with the wrong gender is a real problem. Contrary to public perception, cases are not increasing, they're getting more tolerated. Thank you for your attention.